All right, I want to talk about the blacks and the monkeys real quick. Man, I know how that sounds, but this is a real post, no joke, and this is something that's been weighing on my heart for a long time, and I need to get it off my chest and maybe make this a real discussion. So if you've got about 5 minutes, I'd love to talk to you about it. And if you don't, bookmark it, come back later. All right, let's get into it. The results of a study were released back in 1967, and if you go Google it, you're going to get a very boring read. However, a more modern day storytelling of it was released in like 96. So I'll give you the clip note version of that one just because it's more entertaining. Imagine a locked room with 5 monkeys in it. And in the center of the room is a tall ladder. And on top of the ladder is a bunch of bananas. Now, monkeys being monkeys, they want the bananas. So they go to climb the ladder. And when they do, all of them are hit with powerful jet streams of water. So they learn after a few times that climb the ladder, you get hurt. So they give in to the fact that they're never going to climb the ladder. And when they just start hanging out at the bottom, once the scientists are okay with the fact that they're going to not climb the ladder, they start giving them treats under the doors. Positive reinforcement. Now, one by one, they start taking him out and bringing in a naive. And each naive they bring in looks up and sees the bananas and he goes for the ladder. But instead of a powerful jet stream of water, he's met with an ass whooping from his own people. Now, he don't know why he got his ass whooped. They know they don't want to get hurt again, but he don't have a clue what's going on. And eventually, all 5 monkeys are naives who have never seen a jet stream of water, but know that the ladder is off limits. They just don't know why. Now, I tell that story not to draw a correlation between blacks and the monkeys. That would be horrible. But to draw a correlation between the fact that we like experimenting on humans and the social conditioning that was done in this experiment. At the turn of the century, 1900s, blacks were emerging as one of the most prosperous groups in the nation. You name it, they had it. Vans, van lines, they had the bus fleets, they had banks, they had stock markets, they had leather goods, you name it. But they had a very powerful tool that almost no one else had, a bond with each other. They had all emerged from the same traumatic experience, and so they knew they could count on each other. So they helped each other out. They stuck together. All the whites in the country that were trying to make money were from different walks of life, different parts of the world. They hated each other. They were not going to help each other get rich. Now, not to make it sound political, but the Democrats at the time were not going to have this. They weren't going to stand by and watch a bunch of uneducated, lowly ex-slave blacks get rich on their watch. So, through a series of negative reinforcements, aka Jim Crow laws, KKK forming and all that, they taught the blacks to stay in their place. Right? Fire bombings, cross burnings, lynchings, God knows what, I don't want to know. So the blacks of the time they gave in to the fact that they weren't going to climb the ladder. They were reserved in the fact. And that's when the welfare state was enacted. See, we'll take care of you. Just enough treats under the door so that you don't climb the ladder. And they didn't. They had seen enough pain and suffering. They weren't going to go through that again. And so they taught their offspring, don't climb the ladder. I've seen it out there. You get hurt and I don't want to lose you. And please don't. I want Mom, I'm sorry. And so they didn't. And their offspring. And their offspring. And their offspring. Now, hate is hate, and it's never going to go away. And there is real situations out there. But for the most part, you got kids here in 2024 who have never seen, smelled, tasted hate, but are sure that everything they see and read online is it. They know a guy who knew a guy. They saw that one social media post. You know that black guy on the news that got choked out or shot? Had to be that because that's what we were taught. You get off the plantation, that's what happens. When the reality is the ladder's been safe to climb for a very long time. Going back 40, 50 years, you got blacks to this day who are still living in multi-million-dollar mansions, making 6, 7 figures a year. And the sad thing is that they're sitting there enjoying the fruits of their labors, looking down at their own people and still scared to say the ladder's safe, come on up. Because the social conditioning is so real that they think they're the exception and not the standard. And that's the sad part to me. The social conditioning is so real that when a black person tries to pick them up, it's other blacks that are tearing them down before anybody else. It's like generational PTSD mixed with some social conditioning, and it needs to stop. At this point, it's psychosomatic. Again, real hate is out there. But come on, it's not like that. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. Don't just say you're wrong. Look at what I'm saying, apply it to real life, and then decide whether or not I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, leave me some comments. I'd love to know why, but I don't feel like I'm wrong because here's the two things I know about this life. We love experimenting on humans because humans have voices, and therefore your test results are better. Have a more honest, results. And two, we sure as hell ain't got a problem experimenting on black folks. Go do your homework on that one. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't feel like I'm wrong. But I would love to talk about it. All right, then.